When I was in 6th grade, I had this friend Jamie at school. I didn't notice too much out of the ordinary about Jamie, but now looking back, I realized that she faced a lot of hardship. She would tell me things like how she had a fungus on her feet from not wearing clean socks, and that she constantly got headaches because of her eyesight. For some reason, none of this set off any red flags in my 11-year-old brain, and I jumped at the chance to come to her house for a sleepover. Jamie invited me to come over at the beginning of the school week. It was only after I received this invitation that she started to tell me more about her home life. She lived in a duplex with her mom and teenage brother. Her dad lived on the other side of the duplex. Her parents were divorced, and I thought it was weird that the dad still lived in the same house as the mom even though they were divorced. But I didn't press the matter. Jamie went on to tell me that her father had recently held a gun to her brother's head during a heated argument. This immediately set off alarm bells in my head. I'd never been around guns before, but again, my 11-year-old brain didn't think to tell my mom about what Jamie had told me. I was just excited to be going to a sleepover. Friday rolled around, and my mom dropped me off at Jamie's house. The neighborhood was pretty run down, but not terrible. I walked in the house and met Jamie's mom. She was super nice and welcoming. Jamie's dad was also there, and I was a little bit afraid of meeting him, but all of that was forgotten as Jamie and I went outside to play in the woods in her backyard. After a little while of running around in the woods, Jamie's dad called us inside. He needed to run an errand, and since Jamie's mom had gone out, we had to go with the dad so we would not be home alone. Jamie and I hopped in the back seat and went off. We drove to a neighborhood. The dad parked the car and walked inside a house. I can't remember how long we sat outside that house waiting, but it was not until many years later that I realized her dad was picking up drugs. I don't know what kind, I just remember Jamie telling me her dad did some kind of drug. It gives me chills now, thinking about two young girls sitting outside while who knows what went on in that house. After that, the dad took us back to Jamie's house and Jamie and I had a pretty fun evening. Jamie's brother's girlfriend took us to a theme park, where Jamie's brother worked, and we got to ride around in the bumper boats for free. Jamie and I were both exhausted when we got back to the house, and we almost immediately fell asleep on the couch in the living room. Bang! I woke up with a start at 7 a.m. Jamie's dad was storming around the kitchen, slamming cabinet doors and screaming, "Where's my fucking coffee?" The kitchen was connected to the living room where we were sleeping, and I didn't want the dad to see that I was awake, so I kept my eyes shut and pretended to be asleep. I was terrified, remembering the recent incident with the gun. The dad then walked into the mother's room and was screaming at her about the coffee. The mom was half asleep scolding the dad. I heard her say, "That poor girl is probably out there pretending to be asleep. You've probably scared her." My heart sank. Why did she have to mention me? The dad lowered his voice a bit, but he was still fuming about not knowing where his coffee is. After a few more agonizing minutes, the dad left for work, and the house was quiet again. I did not go back to sleep, and I was very happy when my mom came to get me. It was only after my mom picked me up that I told her everything, from the toe fungus, to the gun incident, to the coffee incident. She was obviously upset but not mad at me. She told me very sternly that I would not be spending the night at Jamie's house again, but Jamie could come to our house if she wanted. Jamie moved schools before we started 7th grade. I never saw or heard from her again. The only piece of news I heard about her was a few years later. I was in high school at this point, and my mom found a newspaper article that stated Jamie's mom had set their duplex on fire in order to get insurance money, and that Jamie's mom had been arrested. There was no mention of Jamie or her father, so suffice to say, Jamie, wherever you are, I hope you're okay. Me and a friend were invited to a house party just for college students in the richer area of the town. So the house was huge with an acre of land and pool area. This party was themed to be a little naughty, so my friend dressed in a sexy nurse outfit and I dressed as a belly dancer. Majority of the party took place in the house as there was maybe like 70 people, with the house being very spacious, so not too difficult to get around. I'm not much of a drinker, but I did have some juice that was available. Some friends pulled me and my friend over to take some pictures, and I set my drink down. After what felt like an hour of just taking pictures, I found my cup and took another sip, not even worrying that I left my cup alone for a while. Then a man came up to me who looked to be in his late 20s, early 30s. He said my boyfriend's name and said he's been trying to call me. That's when I realized I didn't have my phone on me. I have loads of respect for my boyfriend. We always make sure to stay in contact with each other. And since he had to work, I promised I would contact him, but I'd just forgotten. The man said it's urgent and said I can use his phone to call him in one of the rooms. Not thinking at all, I followed the man. If my boyfriend really wanted to call me, then I knew it would be something terrible. As we entered the room, I felt as if I just ran a mile and felt winded. The man closed the door behind me and sat me on the bed and gave me his phone. I started to feel more weak, like I just got a migraine and just couldn't call. Then I was helped to lay down, and within seconds I was out cold. I woke up later, not sure where I was or what even happened. I found my friend rubbing a napkin on my tummy while yelling. It took me a bit to come back to reality, and I realized I was in a bedroom with my friend cleaning some stuff off of me. That's when I had a panic attack and just realized that I quite possibly have been used. My friend calmed me down and told me that didn't happen. She explained that she couldn't find me anywhere and assumed I went to the bathroom. But after like some minutes, I still didn't show. So she went looking for me, eventually checking the bedrooms and found me laying in bed with the guy something out of my belly button. Apparently, he was playing shots with my unconscious body of sucking alcohol out of my navel, licking salt from my chest, and kissing my lips. She didn't know how long this went on for, but I immediately felt sick and even coughed up from just the thought. Thankfully, my boyfriend got off of work early after my friend told him what happened. He picked me up while my friend asked around about the guy, but of course no one saw him or recognized him. I was taken to urgent care and looked at. Thankfully, nothing was wrong with me, and the drug in my drink didn't cause any further harm than just knocking me out. I wish it all ends here, but I started to receive texts from a random guy. At first he was just asking me random things and I just didn't reply. But then he showed me a picture of my torso and started saying creepy things to me and even giving me the impression he's stalking me. This is still going on today, just texting me randomly. I've had the idea to try to bait him one of these days to finally have backup to catch him, but I don't know how smart he can be and what he will do to me if things don't go as planned.